All right, another great guy. What a segue that was. Let's welcome in from thefourthperiod.com. You can follow him on twitter.com/thefourthperiod and check out the magazine as well on Newsstands. Did I say Newsstands? I'm battling a sinus infection. I apologize. Newsstands. It is the editor-in-chief, Dave Pagnotta. Hey, Dave, how's it going?
Not bad. Trust me, you don't want me on Newsstands.
No, I was thinking the same thing, Dave. Now, Dave, we were talking off air about maybe giving you an intro here on this show for when you come on. Any requests? I mean, what kind of, should it be, glorifying you? Should it kind of just be like, some silly bastard from Toronto, Dave Pagnotta? I mean, what kind of intro should we have for you?
I'll leave that in your hands.
Okay.
So
maybe like the Benny Hill theme, or like what should we do?
I don't think I need one at all, but if you want, go for it.
Too modest.
Yeah. Well, come on. Well, I'm really just some schmuck from Toronto. So
what about? No, you're a Montrealer at heart, though. Still,
yeah,
so
of course. But I'm stuck here. So
here's an idea, Dave. This just came to me, right? So you travel a lot. You're in the press boxes. You're hearing things. You're reporting on stuff. You're breaking news. How about we have like a Hockey Insider, Dave Pagnotta? Something like that. What do you think?
That's got more of a nude stand theme to it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. All right, Dave, let's talk some hockey here. Habs win this evening. Very impressive to end a road trip when you're weary. And, well, how weary could you be in South Beach? But anyway, they do win tonight. Peter Budaj gets the call. He was good enough for the victory. They, suffering through injuries. No Brandon Prust tonight. PK Subban steps up with 3 assists. I mean, how do you assess this team where they are right now, and what are your thoughts?
They're still surprising everybody. I mean, the fact that they're able to do this, I guess, past the halfway point now, or just about at the halfway point of the season. They're I don't know if surprising anymore is really the correct terminology for it, because of how well and how consistent they've been. But everyone's taking them for real now. Nobody's second guessing this club because they know what they can do on a consistent basis. And the fact that they had that long stretch of points, the fact that they can come back in a game against Tampa Bay last night and win 4-3 in regulation it's impressive. And the fact that they're getting everybody to contribute is impressive. It's not, this isn't just necessarily one of these kind of one-off type deals where, you're getting one night someone fluky comes up and scores a goal, and another night somebody else kind of comes out of nowhere. And you don't hear about them the rest of the way. Everybody has been contributing in their own right throughout the course of the season, and that's what's been getting the job done for the Habs.
Game points here on TSN 690 as we talk a little bit about the Canadiens. Now, obviously, Brandon Prust goes out, and we've been talking about the fact that they need a little bit of grit or size even prior to his injury. What are you hearing? What's out there?
Well, I mean, like everybody right now, with less than a month to go till the trade deadline, and just over 3 weeks. Marc Bergevin's got everybody out there trying to take a look at what could possibly become available. We will start to see in the next couple of weeks teams that are going to be realistically out of the playoff hunt, that are going to be realistically a seller closer to the deadline. And the Habs are, they're definitely a buyer, and they want to add a couple of pieces. They wouldn't mind adding some extra secondary scoring to the roster. They want to get tougher. We've talked about this before. And you just mentioned it, they want to get tougher and more physical, whether that comes in the form of a top six forward or whether it comes, somebody for the third or fourth unit. They want to be in a position where they can upgrade their roster, not necessarily getting a rental type player. I don't think that's something that Marc Bergevin is entirely interested in bringing in a high priced, soon to be free agent. I don't think that's
Ryan Clough. Excuse me.
Well, he's the type of player they could definitely use. He's the type of player that would be someone that Marc Bergevin wants to bring in, but you got to go on a team that's selling, and San Jose's.
Oh, they just lost with 0.2 seconds left in overtime tonight. 3-2 to the Avalanche. Matt Duchene is 11th of the season, seals it for the Avs, who all of a sudden now starting to look like a team that maybe might go on a bit of a run here. By the way, Claude did pick up an assist tonight.
the Sharks can't afford to sell. And they can't afford to give a guy like Ryan Clough away without it being a quote-unquote hockey trade. And that's just the nature of the beast for that market and for that team. They can do a lot of shuffling in the offseason, but right now, they want to be in a position where they can up their chances and help their chances and solidify them in making the playoffs. So you've got to look elsewhere in terms of what else could become available.
Dave, they're fine. They got Scott Gomez. He's scoring goals now. I mean, looking like it's 1999 again.
Well, if they're putting their eggs in the Scott Gomez basket, then my advice would be sell now.
Dave Pagnotta joining us here on the program. Now, Dave, I watched Philly today against Buffalo, 3-2 win for the Flyers. Giroux getting a power play game winner for them, and Brizgalov getting the win as well. They got Andre Meszaros back in the lineup this weekend, a very important piece for them, a veteran defenseman who's certainly going to help them. He's no Chris Pronger, but that's going to help them a little bit. Are they going to be buyers? It feels like the Flyers have yet to be heard from, and I feel like they're going to make an impactful move. At least
one impactful move. I mean, Paul Holmgren doesn't sit back and just kick his feet up and say, "All right, boys, go for it." He's going to try to make a move that is going to shake up the roster. That's going to leave everybody scratching their heads, going, "What the bleep did you just do?" And somehow it ends up working, at least in the short term, for that team. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he goes all in and trying to get Corey Perry out of Anaheim. And all signs point, regardless of where Corey Perry ends up, he's going to test the free agent market this summer. He's not going to re-sign with the Ducks, not during the season anyway. So the Anaheim Ducks aren't going to risk it. They're going to end up moving this guy, despite how well they're playing and despite how much of a contributing factor he's been over the last month. He really got out of the gate slowly, and that at the time kind of made everyone think, all right, well, if he keeps up playing this poorly, then it's a no-brainer. You got to move him. But he's really, really stepped up his game and really been performing well. So it's going to make it all that much tougher for the Ducks, to move this guy if they can find a deal that they really like. And if it happens to be Philadelphia, I won't be surprised at all.
God, I mean, do they just get everybody that everyone wants? I mean, that's just not fair.
They've been, they've been really, really lucky. I mean, the fact that they end up, trading Jeff Carter to Columbus and getting Jake Voracek, who's their leading scorer, and the first round pick that ended up being Couturier. I mean, okay. Now they can afford to move one of their top younger kids because they've got Couturier and they've got Voracek. So they've been very, very lucky, and Holmgren's got some kind of horseshoe up to be able to pull off some of these moves and make them work in some facet or another. I don't think the team's that great. They've got a lot of holes, especially on the back end, and they've got way too much money out there. And, you make fun of Brizgalov all you want. He hasn't been the main reason as to why this team isn't better.
Right.
It's the lack of depth and the lack of secondary help that's been hurting this team dramatically.
Yeah, big slumps as well. Breen Chen's in a slump. Briere hasn't been scoring recently, so certainly a lot of holes there. Dave, thank you so much for taking some time this evening. Really appreciate it. Of course, The Fourth Period on Twitter.com. If you don't follow Dave, you really should. And TheFourthPeriod.com is the website. Dave, thanks so much.
Pleasure as always, boys. See ya.
All right, there you go. And that's good with the Benny Hill music. I like that. As we go to break here on Game Points with Matthew Ross, kind of the comical theme here, Stefano. Are you ready for this tweet? I appreciate all tweets, but I mean, come on. From Lay Habs Baby, could Markov be available at the deadline? And what do you think Markov, with one of our second-round picks, could fetch? Why would Markov be available at the deadline? I feel like one of those fembots in Austin Powers that just explodes, right? It just like he can't compute it and just what? Why? I don't even understand. You know what? I'm not even going to answer that. I'm so confused as to why that would even be a tweet. John McGee, Lay Habs Baby, please explain further. We'll be back on the other side of the break. It is Game Points.